It's 9 already, so I'm just going to start. Fat Phil with welcome. It's a bit of a different stream since I'm trying to go to explain something. What I'm doing. I want to say what the hell I'm doing with making pigments, but I just want to kind of explain my approach. As you can hear, as you might hear, the kiln is on as well, which is very annoying since it has been for the last 10 hours. Thanks, good to know. Thank you, Fat Filbert. Let me just wait a minute, maybe. Maybe some other people arrive. Otherwise, you'll have a private lesson, I think, Fat Filbert. On how I approach making pigments, which is also interesting. We can do it a member-only one. Also, don't plan to go too long live tonight. Rick, welcome. No, it's a new concept for the Maya rhodamine is on paper, but I've been doing just too many things, so it stays on paper for now. Last week, I think it was a week ago, I saw PR231, a pigment that I found on artistpigments.org, but didn't have an example. No known database with the color. And Gulchen, welcome. So, you know, I thought challenge accepted. So I tried it. Harder than you think. Also, we have the Chrome Tin Orchid, which is a lovely color. I will look into recreating that if my kiln can get hot enough for that. I haven't looked into that yet. But then I wanted to take you along to another kind of corner in artistpigments.org, which I've been kind of eyeballing for a while. I read a paper that the Oregon State University was working on non-toxic yellows and reds. I've given those kind of a go, but they failed. I think I showed you that. Otherwise, they didn't really succeed. Lovely ochres, that's what they became, but no like vibrant, saturated yellows, oranges, and reds, unfortunately. Then the PR231 that I saw made 4 versions of it because I wasn't quite sure what would work with my materials. Teddy, welcome. The kiln is on, so my apologies for the noise in the background. And I can show you the 4 versions of PR231. Let me have a look. These are the 4 versions, and basically they became kind of skin tones, Caucasian skin tones, very soft, pastel-like ones. I did swatch this. This was barely visible. This is too transparent. I did swatch this, which was kind of the same as my skin, maybe a bit more tan and granulating, which I don't have yet. But you know, no pinks here. I want to say unfortunately, but Really did not know what to expect. Same with manganese green, and I only gave it one go. But as I said, today I want to try to explain, so I have some notes here in front of me as well, how I go about when it comes to just seeing something online, a row of numbers and letters to say, and Gifel, welcome, and how I kind of dissect that into making a recipe for a pigment. So first of all, I'm going to show you this quickly, just at artistpigments.org, all the way in the top. When you go to color tools, you need to kind of log into your account for this. Ian, welcome. It's a scandal. Why didn't you? I think they're turning against me. Go to this part, color tools, and then go to experimental. Oh, and then you find the periodic table which I showed you last time, but also a thing, pigments listed by average particle size, all absorption and density, which is really interesting. You really find the gravitational pull of the, that's not the gravitational pull, but the density of the pigment, but also novel pigment visualization. And what this is basically everything from papers that we haven't seen yet, kind of translated into where are they in the color circle. And there's really interesting ones here, also not so interesting ones, really, great variations of some, a lot of variations of some. And then there was a violet here, which caught my eye because, a new violet. I just made a very deep granulating cobalt violet, which was way more tinting than any cobalt violet that we have right now. Also made in a different way, probably way more expensive when you want to do it on a larger scale, but I'm not working on a larger scale. But this one. So how does this translate? This is basically what it says. This is all what it says, and then it gives, worked on it by a certain team from a certain university or lab, and that's about it. So, YouTube trying to keep you quiet? What? Oh, I can't look at it right now. So anyone? Hi, if I haven't said hi. If you haven't said hi, please say hi as well. And don't forget to like the stream. So this is what I'm kind of left with, right? Taking away the illustrated color part. So this is basically, this is the crystal lattice of what it's made out of. Lanthanum, aluminium, manganese, germanium, and oxygen. And the little numbers underneath, subscripts. I didn't really have chemistry. Not a lot, or didn't pay enough attention, to be honest. But in English is also new for me, so I had to look things up. But also, I had to look things up. Only looking things up and learning. But what that says is that it how many atoms of each element there are. So there's 1 lanthanum, 0.9 of aluminium, 0.1 of manganese, 2 of germanium, and 7 oxygen. How does one figure out how much of each you need in weight? Because you can have I'm really distracted by the. You can have a certain amount of this in this crystal lattice, which you see over here, but each element kind of has a different weight to it. So how many atoms we know, it kind of says it here. Then we need to have a look how many atoms are present in each oxide molecule. So I'm using oxides. Because it's basically the only thing I can. So for lanthanum oxide, for instance, is La2O3, having 2 molecules of lanthanum in it, La2. I need to know how much mole that weighs and then translate that into grams. That is all kind of written, I can just look that up. So that's kind of the difficult part, or at least it's not difficult. You can read this, La1 Al.9 Mn.1. If you know what the letters mean and you know how much of each you need, look up what kind of material you have, how many molecules there are in it, do the mole weight, translate that into grams, and I can weigh it, I can make the mix. Now for some things like certain metal salts which dissolve, you can't mix it wet, but in this case I did mix it wet with a little bit of alcohol to get a really homogeneous, a really even mix. Wow. Like I said, it's been on for 10 hours. It's kind of driving me nuts. Dry that out, put it in a pestle and mortar again, really mix it in a really fine powder, sieve it, and then put it in the kiln. First calcination. First in this case. Just a smooth paste. Just a slurry. Oxide snot. No, it's... Ew. In this case, I did look some things up. This crystal structure. What kind of temperature are we talking about? And everything written down in papers. What I could find about this, because the papers don't give me recipes. It gives this, and then on a high temperatures, and sometimes it says the amount of degrees, and sometimes it says for a long time or a short time. But it doesn't really give recipes. But this in this case, I had to reach at least 1300 degrees, which I couldn't reach. But there's tricks for that, because I ran into this with cobalt before. And what you need to do, building up the temperature in different calcination phases. So this is my second time, and I actually hoped it would be finished, but then again, you really need to let it cool down as well. It needs to, it needs to settle, it needs to rest. You can't thermo shock it. So yesterday I had a first go, a few hours. I had to grind it up this morning, but surprisingly, I already could see a color change, which in this first calcination step I didn't expect, because the temperatures really weren't high enough. I'm using manganese as a dopant here. All the other things are actually supporting manganese for this color. So the lanthanum, the aluminium, the germanium, and the oxide part of all the oxides are all kind of supporting manganese and steering it towards a violet here. If I would only have aluminium with a manganese dopant, like just a small amount, I would get a brown, right? So that's why you have manganese violet, manganese blue, in my case manganese green, manganese yellow brownish, manganese black. These are all different kind of supporting structures underneath that. So, this case, high temperatures, but like I said, with the aluminium, with the cobalt, I did it in multiple phases. First, shorter, lower temperature, grinding it down again, putting it in the kiln back again, higher temperature for a longer time, looking how much color difference there is, and kind of knowing what I aim for. If it's not there yet, a third time. In this case, I think third time has to be possible. Manganese red, I don't think that's possible actually. Just basically because there's no element that can give us all the colors around the entire hue circle. I've looked into that. I mean, you have cobalts, but you have cobalt yellow, and then green, and then blue, and a violet, but you know, there's no cobalt red, purely cobalt red. Cadmiums, cadmium green isn't a thing because that's a mix, but pure cadmiums is all the, you know, yellow, lemon yellow to maroon, but no blue or violets, real violets, and no real greens. So especially no blues. Manganese, same thing. Ultramarine, you know, there's a lot of things that you can look up that are kind of color families. Quinacrinones. They all have borders in this hue circle. I can look up. You know, why not? I'll look up if we can use manganese as a part to make a red pigment. Where was I? Oh yeah, this is the second calcination step. I probably need to do a third. Let me just. I put the ads on pause, but I'll refresh that. Yes, I just did that. Yes, but we need to have a look if that is purely manganese as a chromophore. Because you have, for instance, siennas and you know, natural earth pigments that have manganese in it as well. I know is brown, but you know, burn those and they'll turn red because of red earth. But that's because of the iron content in it. Surprisingly, this was already kind of ish. Do I have pictures? Can I show you a picture of it? All right, I'm not going to brag about this being violet. I mean, let me. Can we? Well, never mind. I'll show it. No, everything here full in front of me. It's a muted violet, very muted, grayish. But manganese is a very black oxide. All of the others are white, and it was a very dark grayish powder that went into the oven. So seeing that kind of color shift that happened already towards that violet side, yeah, absolutely, it was more gray, but it wasn't purely gray. It wasn't, and it was lighter, and it has some, it had some violet in it, but maybe same as like violet earth. Well, that's easy to find out, but I'm not going to look things up. I'm first going to continue this. So I look, then I look up what kind of, you know, crystal structure are we talking about, and what kind of temperatures are known for this, and if it's too high, I need to do it in phases. So that's what I'm doing right now. So yeah, that's basically how I go with this. Don't get me started, Gulchen. Just don't. All right. Let me have a look what I have in my notes here. Nothing more about this. No, so this is, you know, this is how I just quickly kind of make a rough start with from this. And let me get some things out of the way here. So let's see if we can kind of, I know this looks way more gray, but it's not. It's like if you see it in real life, you would have kind of recognized just a hint of soft pink in it. I know, but very gray. I know, but it's not. It wasn't a neutral gray, right? Let me quickly have a look. PR48 does not have any manganese in it. At all. You have a barium salt version, calcium salt version, strontium salt version, a manganese salt version that does have it. That's PR 48.4. That has. That doesn't have manganese in it as well. What? Oh, it does in the crystal structure, but it doesn't have it in the molecular formula. That is weird. That is very weird. Looking at this, you see this is manganese salt. You know, the other one, like I said, this is strontium salt. And this is the 4th version manganese salt. There's no manganese in it. It's Mn. That's not here. It's not here as well. But it is here, just in the middle, in the molecular structure. So that's weird, I think. I have no idea, but that's probably also not a solid state pigment as I'm making. Since we're working with salts, it has to be a precipitation. It's also an organic pigment, so yeah, it's a precipitation. You know, it's very, very interesting looking at things like this. And, you know, looking things up like this and learning things as well. Not only, you know, because it started with what is there in my lights are not on. Come on. There we go. Also not because it was kind of missing from my collection, and then I'm talking about manganese green. But just seeing something that, especially with manganese green, because it has, you know, the history of it, 200 years ago, it was kind of invented to say, of a sort, and then kind of it disappeared. So that's what made it really appealing for me. about rhodochrosite. It is a mineral that is a reddish pink, but it doesn't. If you grind that up, it doesn't give a reddish pink pigment, as is with a lot of minerals. So yeah, that's basically kind of what I'm doing right now. And I've gotten to know the kiln a lot better. Also, how I kind of ramp up to certain temperatures, which was very educational for me. And actually, you know, basically the first time my manganese green gave me a moss green, that was the first time I kind of figured, like, it ticked all the boxes. Okay, I can't do certain things, or not certain combinations, or with certain base materials to get good results. So knowing that now, I think I can be a little bit more successful. I don't need 23 attempts, 25, 24, I don't know anymore, attempts to get a pigment right. With the PR231, I think I might have... It's either undercooked or overcooked, I'm not quite sure. Because it did kind of give a, like I said, a skin tone pinkish color, but that was too transparent. And the other versions were a little bit more towards the tan and yellowish side, which wasn't like what we saw as an example. Wait, I'm going to look something up. I think I've been talking about this week with someone who did research on PR233, Potters Pink. There's manganese in it, in the original one. So we are able to get to the PR side of things. I wouldn't call manganese or Potter's Pink a pure red pigment, by the way, but I think you need other dopants for manganese to actually be a successful red. Anyway, let me test these two as well. I can make them. I can make them all, but let's first see if I have a piece of paper. So what I am very pleased about is that this gives this made a very fine. It's the first time I'm touching it after it came out of the kiln. As you can see, it's a very fine powder that you can actually, it's actually kind of sticky. It's that fine. It's not very coarse. I don't need to grind it or anything. This is as fine as I put it in the kiln, which I'm very pleased with. I like pigments that come out like this. I mean, the manganese green is good as well. You know, the grinding up part is also, it has its thing, but This is as if I'm making concealer or something like that. I don't even think it needs mulling. It's that fine, the powder. And it mixes really easily. I mean, this isn't pink at all. I wouldn't call this pink. It's like the other one, like this one. It's a little bit more sand, I think. Wait, I'm thinking. Oh, my chat is behind. There we go. It looks like foundation, yeah. It's I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing as a single pigment thing to be this for certain uses, but it's definitely not a. It doesn't fall within the range of Potter's Pink. So this one has sintered a little bit more. It's still very fine. It's more of a cake instead of a very fine, compact powder. But you can break it quite easily. Yeah, what is it again? Kind of lost what a PR231 even was. Let me get to the pigments. 2, 3, 1. There we go. A manganese alumina pink corundum. Corundum is the same crystal structure as a ruby or a sapphire also has, interestingly. But this does not come close to that. I wouldn't expect it to go there, but... cheers, Ian. So with this it was aluminium manganese. Yeah. Well, let me just copy paste this because that's way more convenient. This is basically what that said about this. And I think, especially looking at the this is discoloring it. That's not good. That means it's wearing off. Getting rid of that one. Well, this one really didn't give me any color. I tested that quite quickly after it came out of the kiln. Don't know if it changed after that. I don't think it did. I wouldn't see a reason for it. Just slightly different, as you can see. A little bit more skin tone-ish. The third one. Let's dig a little deeper for this one. See if there's no changes. Kind of taking it out of the kiln, I thought, that one worked really well, because looking at the screen, kind of that soft pinkish tone that's kind of displayed on artistpigments.org. Also, doing this, I think, that's quite okay. That's quite close. Maybe I just didn't use enough pigment. That's possible as well. We'll see. Maybe I just didn't use enough pigment. This looks way more promising than the version I had before. Way more. Okay, this is my. Okay, I came to a conclusion too quickly. Maybe not. I don't know. It is very transparent. It is very transparent. But definitely pink-isher than the other things. However light it is. A European skin tone palette. It would be a European skin tone palette from the Renaissance, I think. And there's no racism in there, but I think European skin tones are way more diversified than this. I would just use Caucasian for it, if you want to go there. This one is really transparent, Gulchen. Most of the most of the lightness of the pink is basically the paper, the transparency of the paper. I got a loud sound detection alarm on my watch. Super Doom King, welcome. New face here. I think, you know, if I mix this with white, you have the same thing, obviously. Instead of the transparency of the paper, you have the white of the white paint shining through. I don't know how tinting this is, right? So those are factors that come in play. And the last one, I mean, I have 4 different skin tone-ish, Caucasian skin tone-ish pigments. So it would make a great kind of foundation makeup palette for that spectrum. And I'll have the recipes for it, so if you're interested in it or a real need for these colors, let me know. But otherwise, you know, nice to see like single pigment versions of that, right? But I don't know. It's not something that I would really miss, but then again, I don't really use it or haven't used. I've never really worked with skin tones at all. You would buy it, Gulchen, that's good to know. Well, if you just yeah, I don't know. I wanted to say if you just buy some binder, I might maybe I'm just going to, since you know Gulchen, to be honest to everyone, she lives quite nearby, same country, it's nearby enough, so it's affordable then as well. I can send you a small bottle of binder and a pigment to try. If you have a palette knife, I mean these don't even need a muller. You could try it. If anyone else is in for it, let me know as well. I mean, I can ship internationally. At least for the US, it's still kind of a thing. PPK 12? Nah. MY. My. Welcome. I mean, I know what you mean. I'm looking for it. But that's a pigment I haven't used in a very long time. That's more yellow, isn't it? PPK 12. I mean, looking at it as a dry pigment, that's way more yellow than this. But you might know or have a different version. As you can see, this is all kind of the same pigment, different varieties of it. And obviously we have, That's not completely true. This is just different weights of the same elements. I want to say we have in pigment families we have way more differences in colors, but those are have different crystal structures or even different elements in it as well. So in this case, that would be the case. This titanium iron pigment, and that's not even in this. No, aluminium manganese. Yes. We are. Yeah, I know. PostNL is, but not a big fan of them either. With when it comes to international shipping, I had a package that I send. Super Doom King, you are Dutch as well. Welcome. Well, let's keep it polite and do it in a language that everyone understands, right? I had a package that I sent in March, I think, which arrived last week in Australia, sent through PostNL. And I know Australia really takes a long time, no matter the carrier, but that was ridiculous. And you know, that was a resend because the first one already got lost. No, the second one got lost. The first one was damaged. So that was a terrible experience for both sides, to be honest. But they took it really, really well, and I was really happy with that. Really appreciated that. Let's not. For a certain US skin tone. Well, look at that. It's almost family, Rick. So, for new people here, sorry, for new people here, how did you find the channel? Just out of curiosity. A random suggestion. Well, welcome to Pigment Land. Well, there is a solution for the orange skin tone one, right? We had the dye for it as well, I think. Was that the dye for the Cheetos or the Doritos dye? It's the same kind of orange, right? Let's lake it and make that into a skin color. I'm not going to do that right now. Not at all. So yeah, PR231 of a sort of sorts ish. I have Australian relatives as well, but that's I think they all moved there. All right. Well, Doritos, Cheetos. I think it's the same. They use the same powder for the flavoring, right? I know they don't taste the same. I know. I'm aware of that, but. Were there other things I was working? Oh, the very enthusiastic Sunday live that I had turned out more difficult after the live than I actually hoped it to go. But eventually, I managed to, and this is all wrapping. This is all a paper filter over it. It oxidized. It oxidizes a little bit grayish, as you can see. I'm sorry, but the inside is still very yellow. Right. I want to try to see if I can let this dry into a ball. But it looks quite convincing like this already, right? This is going to be a ball of Indian yellow. I mean, I would believe it. It smells weird already. Okay. Let's see if this has fully dried. Other things. I have been working on other things, right? I know I have. No, it's a coffee filter. An unbleached coffee filter that I found work way easier than having cloth to filter it through, because you need to wash that, and you know, this coffee filter I can let it dry in the coffee filter so that, you know, it stays away from dust, and I can then just throw it away. A win for efficiency there. I have slight, but I need to find the previous version. If I even am going to show this to you. Do I have the previous? I have the previous version here. Let me just write everything down first before I'm getting even more chaotic than I already am. I don't know if that is possible because I've already lost my pencil. How is that possible? I mean, that thing is always here with me somewhere. I don't know why, but I want to blame Ian. I'm just joking, Ian. What happened to my pencil? Was there a lot of liquid separating from it like the previous one? Yes, there was. But it wasn't bright yellow. So, do I still have some things? No. There was. Very similar. So very similar to this. Looks almost black now, but this is, as you can see, the transparency, very amber, dark amber-like color. Very similar to that. But I need my pencil. I just want to write with my pencil. Why? Why is this? Why is it not? Maybe because I have just way too many things everywhere. But that has never bothered me before. Okay, so looking from a different angle maybe. I refuse to go to write this with a pen. Don't I have other pencils? Yes, of course I have other pencils, but then I need to look straight into the light. Okay. This is all PR231. These and these PR231 as well. This is messing up my head. That's not good. I wanted to focus on the thing I wanted to do. I wanted to just sample this because I really haven't tried it fully incorporated and mixed yet. So I just want to try a tiny bit of the new Paris green mix, which should give us a more vibrant, more saturated, a deeper green than before. Remember, this was my version. This is another version of Mummy and Paris green, but this yellow was separating too much for my tastes. So for those of you new here, Paris green, a very, very, very toxic pigment from, I want to say decades ago, but over more than a century ago it was already banned, which was famous for its lovely saturated and vibrant greens in comparison to the malachite and the things we had before that. It also contained... that explains why they are all so weird. It also contains arsenic, a copper arsenic-based pigment, which made it highly toxic. And therefore it was banned. Now I wanted to make remakes of pigments that you otherwise couldn't really get. So I'm making like a chemically pure version of Indian yellow, the cow urine pigment. I'm making a mix, a copper-based mix for Paris green that should act very similarly, mixing but also as a dry pigment, looking like it as a dry pigment, as a wet pigment, and its mixing properties. And a similarly compound-based copy of Mummy Brown. So using all the same kind of raw compounds that have been found in its microscopic kind of research. Wow, it's yellowing a lot when I put water in it. Okay, maybe less water. But wait, this is wait. This is getting interesting. Wait, this is intro. Let me try something. So I have this over here, and this is just the binder, right? And now I'm going to put that same pigmentation in the mix, but mix it with water. With more water, I should say. And then you have a very yellow green. So we can make different variations with the same paint. That's really interesting. But as you can see, it's a little bit more saturated than this one, which I'm really pleased with, especially if you look at this. This is what I was kind of aiming for the, you know, what's here on the edges. In its mask tone, not mixed with more water. Mixing with more water makes it more yellow. Interesting. I don't know if real Paris green did that because I've only made it once. And this isn't really a good example of it because it's a very old pigment. And I think it's been exposed to way much oxygen way too much oxygen and light when it was stored. But I think this is an improvement. Oh, and this was the, I found that swatch as well. This was the swatch I tried. This was the swatch I tried directly out of the kiln of this. Right, so there is a lot of difference when this kind of cooled down and settled and just rested at the crystal structural form, I don't know if that's correct, has fully developed here, whereas this was directly out of the kiln, where it was just without any color. It's just a bit beige. That's it. So yeah, there is a great difference. This looks like a very light potash pink to be. Maybe I did manage to make it. I mean, maybe this is just PR231 as we see it online. Yeah, the mummy brown I really like, but this one especially looking at these two. This really similar with that. I think eventually, I'm letting it dry first, we have a little bit less separation of the yellow. So I'm really pleased with that. But looking at these two get me excited because of this. I don't need to make it more difficult than it already is for myself. So yeah, I think that's about it, guys. I'm really tired, and I need to wake up early tomorrow because that thing is still going for another hour. But I can control it from a distance now. I can control it remotely. So I think I'm just gonna do that. So very technical part that I started with when it came to kind of dissecting what I find online to you know making a pigment out of it, from it. I don't know how to say that. That is very specific, Rick. Thank you. No, I think it was about this was about it. I think. Does my version of Paris green re-wet easily? On paper or in the pen? To be honest, I haven't made a dot out of it yet. Have I? Chat, help me with this, please. I want to say this is a green, but I mean I know this is a green. I can see that's a green. I have no idea what kind of green this would be. I think it's manganese green, to be honest, but I haven't made a pen out of it. Let me have a look what kind of green this is. That's definitely not Paris green. This is manganese green. Which re-wets super easy. That's good to know. That was this sample of manganese green pigment. So yeah, this is this are these the 4 phases of it, or let me have a look if I can. I think this is right. Yeah, this is the proper one. So fully completed my journey to A genuine stick of PG21. What thank you for that. Really, that means a lot because I think almost 2 years ago I made a video of Paris green, making Paris green, which was, you know, the swatch I just showed you, and it was very similar to this. And I put the dot pens I made back then. I put those in a airtight like jar with those silica packages in the jar, and I put that away. I tried to re-wet that for the swatch that I had here because it's a I couldn't find the swatch I made of it anymore, and I had such a hard time. It was very gritty, and it wasn't brittle, it was gritty, almost like I had to break down the top layer first before I could even re-wet a little bit underneath. It was really hard and weird. I thought, you know, it might be me 2 years ago. I've learned a lot about making paint and pigments in that time, so thank you. I'm definitely going to try for this one. I'll make a dot pen out of it right now, otherwise I'll forget it. Right, that's the last thing I'm going to do, and then I'm off to bed. But you know, as I wanted to say, this is the kind of the journey of my manganese green. First calcination, second calcination, second calcination. This is partly washed, and this is fully washed. I'm not quite sure which I like better. I think I like this better, but I think this is more useful. Also, the granulation in this is way more pronounced. So yeah, but nonetheless, manganese green in all its phases of its manufacturing. I'm really pleased with that. And I think I can just say that about my own product. Oh god, safety glasses that make it unsafe for here. So this and this. Mel, thank you so much. I don't know if you saw the... this is Mel, guys. I talked about you. I don't know if you can see him. Really, 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 really happy with these, Mel. Especially because they show so much similarities to my own sample of Indian yellow pigment that I have. Under UV, kind of the same, and everything. That thank you very much. It really means a lot. Yeah, I need to show you something. I kept it. I'm just going to cover my address here, but I think this it was in the mailbox, and sometimes there's a snail or a slug, I think, in the mailbox that just eats paper. So it was eaten like this, and then, you know, I saw the stamp, and I thought, oh no, it's not these and then I noticed you wrapped them really neatly in this plastic cover. I was so happy to see these like this, because I was so afraid that a stupid slug had eaten them. It was so yeah, it was kind of nerve-wracking moment for me. But I stream Wednesday at 9 my time. That's also your time, Superdome King. So 9 o'clock in the evening at Wednesdays. But I also sometimes stream if I have kind of a super interesting development, or if I just want to have some company while I'm making paint, or when I just want to chat about, you know, other things. Then if I would just want to chat instead of just watching series or listening to music or anything, as a form of variation for myself. But standard stream time, 9 o'clock in the evening on Wednesdays. Mel, I will let this dry for you. It works really well. Happy to send you these as well as my. Well, I want to say my Indian yellows, but I'm not quite sure if I can make the. Then you need to just wait a little bit longer. Seriously, safety glasses that keep falling. I want to get the Indian yellow right before I go do anything with that. I think this is kind of, if this re-wets well as well, this one's good. Why is that not? Oh, never mind. Not even going to try. So the dot pens. Am I not even going to try? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Should I? I want to say I should. Ah, there it is. So there you go for the dot pen. Dot pens of Paris green. I think that's it. I think it's good for tonight. You had a genuine Indian yellow swatch from Winsor Newton from the 80s. Tell me more, Rick. There is, yeah. I've tried mixing the liquid through the pigment and letting that evaporate as well. Maybe I can try that with the next batch. Just letting it fully evaporate and mix it through, because what I noticed with the genuine Indian yellow, it's quite it feels quite soluble. It's not this. I know this isn't soluble. I mean, if I put water in this, it'll eventually sink down. But with the Indian yellow, like this, I just want to show you. This is the Indian yellow ink that I bought fully separated, a yellow, like a rock hard, if I might add, a yellow base with the binder, which is a shame. I think Rick is still from the 1980s. Well, I mean, there's some old fellas here amongst us, but maybe not that old. I'm just joking. Well, I don't think I can lake the pigment, the liquid, because for laking you need kind of coloring compounds that really stick to something. And with the liquid that was separated from my last batch, the ball I'm trying to make, I did put some salts and some solids, some powders in there to see if there's any reaction happening, or I changed the pH to higher, lower. I just played with it a little bit to see if there's any reaction happening. There's no reaction happening at all. Which I think all the active compounds are just in the pigment itself right now. But maybe I also shouldn't have let it sit in the filter. Maybe that filter also suck out a little bit of the yellow. I'm not quite sure, but definitely, Mel, I fully agree with you that this is way more orangey than I've had so far with Indian yellow, as you've seen during the live stream as well. But to be continued. I'm letting it dry overnight. I'm going to put it on again. I'm going to turn that thing off in a little bit. So I want to say thank you so much for joining, everyone. I felt like a rather unusual stream because it started kind of nerdy, but don't say nerdy, it was very interesting, thank you. No, but that was just, I wanted to share kind of my method and how I go from seeing that online to figuring out what to do to make a pigment. Sometimes I'm lucky enough to find any material in books or if there's any papers on a new pigment development, but unfortunately none of those include recipes. So this is kind of a way to get a recipe, to make a recipe for yourself, and then it's just trial and error and a lot of patience. Iron brew, that's a shame. That would make a great orange compound for Indian yellow, I think. I know iron brew. I need to go there again. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. Not quite sure if I'm going to make it any of these. Well, yes, wait, yes. If that will become a saturated violet, tomorrow will be the third calcination. So earliest I can show it Friday morning. But if that succeeds, I'll turn on my live stream immediately. So don't forget to turn on your notifications because I won't be planning that one. Otherwise, hope to see you next week and have a great day. Thanks, guys.